Hello. Today we are going to be focusing on using yoga blocks. So I get a lot of questions all the time about how and why and when to use our yoga blocks or use other props. Today we are going to be very specific. We're going to think about using yoga blocks specifically for support. So allowing these blocks to hold our weight and to help us ease in to a posture that we otherwise might not be able to feel very settled or feel very comfortable in, or that we definitely wouldn't be able to relax in. These are also really great for deepening some postures, especially some of our reclined or restorative postures. Adding the yoga blocks in does give us that option to rest our weight down and to really relax, which lets gravity take over, lets us sort of slowly find our way into a deeper posture. So yeah, that's what we are focusing on today. Several of our poses are going to use 2 yoga blocks. If you don't have 2, I totally understand. You can always use a pillow. You can use another mat rolled up. You can take a pile of blankets. Anything at all that you feel confident resting your weight on that's got a little bit of give and that you can settle into for 5 to 10 breaths on the posture, depending. The first one we're going to talk about is our easy seated pose, our meditation posture. I'm sorry that this kitten has decided she needs to be front and center for this video today. So I'm going to spin to the side so you can see. Taking this block, you are going to bring it right underneath your sits bones or your tailbone, but we're not going to try to sit all the way up on it. Once we get up here, our knees follow us. We're not actually doing ourselves any favors through our hip flexors. So instead we want to let our weight shift forward. Think about resting on your tailbone and on the very edge of your sits bones and allowing your knees to fall forward towards the floor. So what we're doing here is creating space through your pelvis and through your hip flexors and allowing your posture, allowing your spinal alignment to get just a little straighter. Get here, give yourself a couple shoulder rolls. We're going to take 10 deep breaths right here, lifting up with your belly button. And releasing. Good. Think about imagining the tops of your ears getting pulled to the ceiling and your tailbone getting pulled down into that block. Give a little lift to your chest, a little lift to your belly. We're going to take 5 more breaths. Take 1 more just for fun. Good. Give yourself a couple blinks. Open up your eyes. We're going to swing around and find a tabletop position for all 4s so that we can come into our supported hero. So bringing that block right between your heels, we're going to sit up on it. We want our toes pointing straight back, tops of the feet press into the floor, and you can press all 10 toenails into the floor. And then eventually start to work your thighs together. They might not be there today. That is totally fine. Just as we start to think about this posture, we want knees to come straight out of our hips. So we're not trying to open up very wide. Stay nice and parallel. We're going to toss in a couple twists just to feel good. So as you're ready, inhale nice and tall. Exhale, twist over your right side. So your right arm can come behind you, fingertips to the mat. If they still feel very far away, use a block to help bring the floor to you. Left hand comes to the outside of your knee or thigh, and if you feel good, look out over that back shoulder. And take one more deep inhale. Exhale, draw it back to center. Inhale, stretch it tall. Exhale, reverse that twist. So be mindful of exactly what I just did, where as I twisted, my knees splayed out to the side, my hips kicked over to the left, and I lost that nice alignment in my spine. Try to keep everything nice and centered and keep your tailbone pressed down into the block. Twist just with your rib cage. Take one more inhale. And unwind. Good. We're going to give ourselves a little mini back bend. So bring palms down to the floor behind you. Press into your fingertips. Squeeze elbows and shoulder blades together. And then lift your rib cage, your sternum up to the sky. Your chin can stay tucked right down to your chest. Or drop it back. Use your inhale to pull chin back to center. We're going to come back up, but I want you to move in slow motion through your hands. You probably heard my knuckles right there. Let them roll out and shake them out. Good. Coming just back to center. Palms rest on your thighs. Shoulders come up, back and down. Again, tailbone drops, belly button lifts, heart lifts. Back of your ears lift up. We're going to take 5 deep breaths right here. Good. If your knees and thighs and ankles feel really good in this position, you want to find your way to reclined hero. You can. We're going to remove this block out from under our booty. So your hips want to come down right between your heels. We're going to take the 2 blocks we have and make them shaped like a T. We want the block that catches our head to be on its highest level, and the block that catches our back to be on its middle level. You might find you need to scooch forward just a little bit. And then as you're ready, we're going to lay on back. You'll probably need to wiggle or adjust to find that perfect distance. Our tall block should land where you feel comfortable resting your head down. Your middle or medium block lands right between your shoulder blades. Your hands can stay on your body. And they can come to a low V, a wide T. You give yourself a little hug. Or bring your arms out wide like a cactus or a field goal. We're going to take 3 more breaths right here. Good. Always moving in slow motion out of these deeper postures. Allow yourself to sit up nice and easy. Scooch those blocks out of the way. We're going to bring them back to the front of the mat. From here, we're going to come back through a tabletop. And then tuck your toes, press your feet, hips up and back for a downward dog. Feel free to pedal it out. Reverse the stretch of that ankle and calf. We're going to move from here into a pigeon pose. So as you're ready, we're going to take our right heel up and bring your right knee to your right wrist and your ankle towards your left wrist. Now if you're like me, I always have to scooch this back foot further away from me. And then you want to rest on top of your back knee and on top of your back foot, right where your shoelaces would be. So if you get here, this is where we're going to use this block. We're going to take one right underneath your right hip to help bring the floor to you just a little bit. From here, we're going to take another one right in front of you and bring forearms down to that block. Now this guide can be on any level. You can have them highest. You can have a medium, you can have it low. You don't have to use it at all, but to stay in the supportive beam, it's a really great option. It allows us to keep that length in our spine and sink just a little bit deeper into our weight, into our hips. We're going to take 3 more breaths right here. And we're going to come back to our hands. Scooch this block that was at our hip out from under. Press it into your palms and press back to a downward dog. We're going to take our opposite side. So left heel lifts high. Draw this left knee to left wrist. We aim to get this ankle up to our right wrist. If it's not there, don't worry about it. Let your toes scooch backwards. Grab that block, slide it under left hip. Our opposite one comes in front of our heart. We bring forearms down. Actively try to keep your weight centered between both hips. So we're not letting this right hip dip down, the left thigh come really high. We want to keep our weight steady. We'll take 3 more full breaths right here. And know that with any of these postures, you can hold them for less time, you can hold them for more time. Once you get comfortable and familiar in what you like, you can take any of these for anywhere from 5 to 15 breaths. 1 more. And we'll come on back to our hands. Scooch both blocks out of the way. And drive back to a downward dog. Again, pedal, wiggle, shake it out however you need. And we'll come back down to hands and knees. And swing our feet to the side to come down to a seat. So we're going to find some nice, easy reclined or restorative postures right here. We're going to start with a supported bridge. It's your choice. You can take that with 1 block on its lowest level, with 1 block on its middle level, or with 2 blocks stacked up on their lowest level. This is just to give you a nice strong base so we really feel comfortable letting your weight rest down. We're going to come down to our spine. Let your soles of the feet touch the floor. And then on your inhale, press your feet into the mat. Lift your hips high to the sky and scooch those blocks underneath your pelvis or your sacrum. So your sacrum is that largest vertebrae right at the base of your spine. A good rule of thumb is if you can find your hip bones, Find the middle of them. Trace them around. You should hit the center of that block. We want to be able to let our weight rest down fully into the block without feeling like we need to keep ourselves lifted or supported at all. We're being completely taken care of here. And give yourself a few rounds of breath, just like this. Again, your hands can rest on your body. They can take a low V. They can stretch out wide or tall. Or maybe reverse that nice hug you gave yourself earlier. There's no wrong answers here with these arms. Just do what feels good. Give a little bit of tuck to your chin. So you get a nice long neck, stretching out the back of that neck as well. We're going to take 3 more breaths just like this. Notice how your breath naturally falls right into your diaphragm. Good, one more. From here, we're going to take a variation. We're going to come to a half happy baby or a supported half happy baby. So we're going to plant down hard through your left knee and hug your right knee toward your chest. And already you should feel a pretty deep stretch across that left thigh. Good. Finding that happy baby, send your soul to foot to the ceiling. Bring your right hand behind your thigh and draw it down. It's all right if this left heel starts to peel up off the floor a little bit. Take one more breath. And lower these right toes down. Draw your left knee in nice and tight. Notice that stretch upon right side. And then as you're ready, left heel comes to ceiling. Knee comes out nice and wide. Hold behind your thigh and draw down. Totally fine if these right heels start to come up off the mat. Try to stay connected with your toes. Stay balanced and connected to the ground. Take one more breath right here. We're going to lower that left foot down. From here, we're going to find a supported shoulder stand. So, keeping weight resting on the blocks. Send all 10 toes high to the sky. You might feel a little wobbly. You might feel a little better if you take your hands underneath and grip the blocks underneath you. Honestly, I really love that my weight tilts and this outside edge or corner of the block presses into my low spine. Gives me like a little pressure point. Sometimes it's nice to kind of wiggle side to side. You can stay right here. You can take some ankle circles. You can add your fingertips to the mix so it becomes a supported dead bug pose. Take 2 more breaths right here. Remember that once you get these down, you can take them for as long as you need. A lot of times I set a timer on my phone for somewhere between 3 and 8 minutes, depending on the posture. Take one more deep inhale. Exhale, lower palms to your blocks. Lower your toes down to the floor. Press into your feet, lift your hips, and scooch that block out of the way. Roll down your spine, slow motion. And give yourself some windshield wiper twists. Just let your knees rock side to side. From here, we're going to come into a supported fish posture. So we'll sit up nice and tall. We'll take our blocks in that same alignment or positioning they were in when we did supported hero or virasana earlier. This time becomes your choice though. If you want a little more opening through your throat and your neck, drop the block that supports your head down to its middle level or even its lowest level. And again, as we lay back, you might find you need to wiggle or scooch, figure out what's best for you. But we want this bottom edge of the bottom block to line up right where your shoulder blades point together, right where that tip of your scapula occurs. And then let it travel your spine up in between your shoulder blades. Again, everyone's different. You might find that your block sits a little higher or a little lower than someone else's, and that's okay. Make sure the block that supports your head is nice and sturdy and stable. And then you have a choice here. You can keep your knees bent, soles of the feet right on the mat. You could stretch your legs long, or traditional, specific supported fish has nice long legs. If you want to add a hip opener here, you can. Coming to a bound angle, or Baddha Konasana pose with soles of the feet together and knees wide. Arms can rest on your body. They can come to a low V, a T. They can stretch up overhead or make that field goal shape. This is one of my very favorite poses in the whole wide world. It feels so unbelievable on my upper back. And I feel like I'm getting a little bit of everything. That throat opener, a heart opener, a little bit of massage and pressure at my shoulders. Opening through my hips, and a little bit of stretch in my ankles. But I'm doing it in a really supportive and gentle way. So I'm not forcing myself into anything, but taking my time, easing into this stretch. If you like, you can close your eyes. We're going to take 3 more breaths. And in slow motion, draw your knees back together. You can prop up on your elbows. Sit all the way up, scooching those blocks out of the way. We're going to bring them down to our knees. We're going to take one more supported posture and then a supported shavasana. So bringing one block with us, we're going to come back to that bound ankle or butterfly position. But this time, we're going to rest our ankles or the outside edges of our feet up on one of those blocks. So we'll lay all the way back, nice flat spine. This time it's heels that are lifted, knees fall wide. This is a supported posture, but it's also greatly deepening this stretch because our knees have further to fall down to the mat. Gravity can pull on them a little more, offering a deeper opening through your pelvis and through your inner thigh, also behind your knees and at your ankles. Take any option you'd like with your arms. We're going to take 5 deep breaths right here. Notice that nice deep diaphragmatic breathing right at your belly button. And gently draw your knees back to center. Good. Hug your right knee into your chest nice and tight. Maybe extend your heel high to the ceiling. Lower those toes back down. Hug your left knee in. If you want it, let your heel extend high. Good. Both feet are going to come back down to the mat. We're going to set for our shavasana or corpse pose. This time we're going to take one block under each knee. So this allows us a good little bend in our knees, which helps us release some pressure in your low spine. Some people are really, really uncomfortable in our corpse pose or shavasana because they've got such a deep natural arch in their lumbar. They just can't quite get settled and they start to feel really compressed in that low back. So bringing a block under each knee, or bringing a bolster or a pillow or a couple blankets under each knee can really help alleviate a lot of that. So as we lay back, let hips and shoulders get settled and steady. Notice how we lessen that natural curve. Get our whole spine just a little closer to the floor. Allow your knees to fall out wide. Don't feel like you have to keep them squeezed into center or pointing to the ceiling. It's okay if they roll out. Your toes are going to want to roll outward as well. And again, allow yourself as much time as you need here. Setting that timer. Staying anywhere from 3 minutes to 15, whatever your day or your practice allows. We're going to take 5 more deep breaths just like this. And give yourself one more. Bring gentle wiggles to your fingers and your toes. Reach your arms up overhead. Take a nice full body stretch. And again, draw your knees back towards your chest. You can rock side to side. Draw little circles on the ceiling. From here, bring your right arm up overhead and roll to your right side for a fetal position. And take a couple blinks, a couple breaths. And we'll sit all the way back up. Thank you guys so very, very much for letting me introduce you to just a few of those supportive postures where we get to use our yoga blocks. Like I said, some of those are my very favorite in the whole wide world. I'm so happy I got to share them with you all. I know that they can feel a little lazy, or it can feel a little bit like you're not accomplishing much, but I promise that just finding that stillness and allowing yourself to relax into a posture makes a world of difference, and you will start to see a huge improvement in all other aspects of your practice. Please, please, please let me know if you have any questions, if you want to know more about anything, or what else it is you are looking for in these videos. Divine light in me honors the divine light in you. Namaste. Thank you.